What's up, kitchen table wizards? What's up, deck brewers from all over the world? It has been some time, but we're back with a deck, and this time it includes some royalty, some aristocrats, and of course a lot of sacrificing. So before we head into the deck, shout out to our friends at Dragon Shield, the best sleeves in the business, and a big shout out also to our partner CARDMARKET. Still the best place to get your singles, still the best place to get your boosters in Europe, and if you want to try it out for the first time, check out the link in the description below. So you can claim your free €5 sign up bonus and get yourself some singles or a nice booster for free. Now as always we start with the lands. We play 23 of them. 3 of them are plains from Seth McKinnon, 8 of them are swampies, also designed by the genius. But we have more. Here is Caves of Elas, Tainted Fields and Scoured Barrens. They all fit really well in this deck. And we have more black and white duels in the form of Shattered Sanctum. Look at that full art version. There's also a Silver Quill Campus in the deck and a Temple of Silence. Black is the main color, that's why we play Witch's Cottage. We also play Barren Moor and a Mortuary Mire to get those aristocrats back on top of our library. We also play 1 copy of Bright Climb Pathway. This flip land can change into Grim Climb Pathway in white and black. We also included 1 copy of Evolving Wilds, and for our special land we included this guy, Westvale Abbey. It's a land, and when you sacrifice 5 creatures you can transform it into Ormental, Profane Prince, Flying Lifelink, Indestructible Haste, 9/7. And he's not the only dude in this deck. The deck is built around this guy, Elas, il-Kor, Sadistic Pilgrim, a 2-drop with Death Touch, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life, and whenever another creature under your control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. This works well with Eternal Pilgrim. This lady can also sacrifice creatures to gain you some life, and when you have a lot of this life, you can use it to exile non-land permanents. So we need some creatures to sacrifice. What about these 1-drops? Reassembling Skeleton, Blood-Soaked Champion, Tenacious Dead and Cult Conscript, they all come back. And even this one, Sanitarium Skeleton, is great in this deck. Now the original Aristocrats deck was built by this guy. His name is Sam Black. He loved sacrificing creatures and played the card Cartel Aristocrats as his key card. Now as this channel is about casual magic, it's about a lot of one-offs and doing things not really the way that they should be done, well, we're not going to play Cartel Aristocrats. I'm sorry. However, we do play a lot of important other cards. Blood Artist, Cruel Celebrant and Zulaport Cutthroat all really like when other creatures die, because then your opponent loses life and you gain 1 life. And another card that really likes that is Bontu the Glorified. It's a crazy god with menace and indestructible. It's a 4/6 for 3 mana, but you need to have a creature die, otherwise it can't attack or block this turn. But that's no problem, because for 2 mana you can sacrifice another creature, scry and then drain some life. Another great newer card in this deck is Braid's Arisen Nightmare, a 3/3 for 3, and at the beginning of your end step you may sacrifice a creature in most of the cases, and if you do, each opponent may follow your action, and otherwise he will lose 2 life and you draw a card. Isn't that amazing? And what's also amazing is that we play a Lunarch Veteran. He gains you life when creatures come into play or creatures die, because when he dies he flips into this guy. Then of course we play a Plague Crafter, also a sacrifice creature, and Benalish Sleeper. Now we wanna draw some cards, and we do that when our creatures die with Morbid Opportunist. We also have Grim Haruspex to draw us cards for whenever a non-token creature dies, and there's also a Dockside Chef to make some good sushi and to draw us cards. Now we already told you we don't play the Cartel Aristocrat, but there are a lot of other cards that can help us sacrifice creatures. Let's start with Carrion Feeder. This 1-drop can sacrifice creatures to grow. There's also this creepy vampire child that eats something ew from his hand, and then there's also a Flesh Taker. The last two go well together, flavor wise of course.
My gran could do better, and she's dead.
A little bit of old school with this Hell's Caretaker. He also likes to sacrifice creatures to bring some other creatures back. Smothering Abomination does the same thing, and he draws cards. And then there's Woe Strider, my favorite card in the deck because he brings along a goat. More animals join the party because Ophiomancer brings along a snake. There is also Jadar, the Ghoul Caller. He brings along a zombie. And then Unruly Mob is very happy when they all die. And this card is also happy when they all die. It's called Lisa Forgotten Archangel. It's great to replay your creatures because when they die you can return them back to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. And there's no magic card that loves death more than Liliana, Heretical Healer. When a creature dies, you flip it into a Planeswalker. There we go. And you also create a zombie. We then have Lily Defiant Necromancer. She can have a player discard a card. She can return non-legendary creatures, and she can get a nice emblem that brings dead creatures back to the battlefield at your end step. The next card stays in our gloomy mood. It's called Weatherlight Completed. It's a legendary artifact. It's a vehicle. It's a 5/5 flying, and as long as you have 4 or more counters on it, it's a creature. Now, whenever a creature dies, you put a counter on it, and whenever you have 7 or more counters on it, you draw a card instead of scrying. Now on to some removal. We start with Vindicate and Rite of Oblivion. The last card is perfect in our sacrifice deck. Tragic Slip does also exactly that. We also play a dam in black and white to have a board wipe, and Silver Quill Command is also great. It's a very flexible card that is perfect for our deck. The last two cards are enchantments. They are enchantments that work great with our deck. Let's look at Hidden Stockpile. This enchantment creates servo tokens when your creatures die, and you can also use it to sacrifice a creature to scry. And then the last card is an Abiding Grace, a great card to bring one of your 1-drops back to the battlefield. Oh, long time no see, but this was again a nice deck tech. Don't know when I'll be back for the next one. Do leave a shout out in the comments below to show you're still alive, and as always, keep it casual. Bye.